Half minutes.
Mr. Speaker, today's proposal is a step in the right direction, but we must improve this bill before we vote on final passage. What have we learned here today? We've learned first that during the budget negotiations that it was determined that the doc fix, as we call it, for doctors' payments and unemployment insurance were decided not to be within the scope of what they were doing, and they would do that separately. And then, unbeknownst to us on our side, after agreeing to that, only the doc fix, as we call it, was put back into this bill. It was supposed to be separate, it was a part of the rule, and it would be voted on automatically when we vote for this rule today. Only thing left out was unemployment extension, and I think we know why. We heard from my colleague that he thinks there's plenty of money out there. They're not going to go without a thing. Totally untrue. It would be a tragedy of gigantic proportions if this House turned down the extension of unemployment benefits because some members believe that it's not going to happen. It is going to happen. And it was not because we didn't try in the Rules Committee to try to explain it. There is no justification in the world for turning down a 3-month extension in the dead of winter that is paid for, that adds not a penny to anything. And there was no bipartisanship in the Rules Committee on this last night. We did our very best, but we are outnumbered considerably, 9-4. But nonetheless, we think it's important enough today to give every member of this House a second chance. And we're going to ask everybody who wants to make sure the people in their districts who are unemployed through no fault of their own, there has been sort of a prevailing thought that we've heard from time to time that if we don't extend employment insurance, we'll teach them a lesson. We'll teach them not to have a job. They'll find out right away that that's not the way to live. That despite the fact that, as it was pointed out, 20,000 people applied for 600 jobs. Gives you some idea of what that's like. Some people have come before committees here with stacks of resumes that they've sent out as high as 2 feet with rejection notices that they've gotten. They're not there. We are going to give another chance. On the previous question, I want everybody on both sides of the aisle who believes they cannot go home, and we did have a resolution here not to go home till our work is finished, but that we will take care of our fellow Americans in need, which we hope is temporary, and that again depends very much on what we do in the future. We will give you a chance. If we vote no on the previous question to this rule, then I will be allowed to bring up the amendment that was turned down last night to extend it for 3 months. Imagine that, 3 months, all paid for again. So it is really appalling to me that we can fix anything here, but we can literally let children, veterans, people who are unable to work, the disabled, and the people who have lost their jobs, that we can say to them, it doesn't matter here in the House of Representatives if you're hungry, if you're cold, if you're going to lose the place that you live, if your sustenance is taken away from you. We don't care, maybe some church somewhere, some temple, some synagogue will take care of you. So if we defeat the previous question, I will offer an amendment to the rule to allow the House to extend unemployment insurance for $1.3 million. And I urge my colleagues to vote no. I ask unanimous consent to insert the text of the amendment in the record along with extraneous material immediately prior to the vote on the previous question. Urge my colleagues to vote no. If the previous question does not go down, I urge